How to potty train your kid in 3 days. 3 days, like 3 days is in everybody's head for some reason. It really is so much harder once you have more than one kid. Yes, I was crying. Yes, it was very stressful. Yes, I wanted to quit at times. Then there's this whole section in the back that's like a cheat sheet, which is really good for dads who are not gonna read this book when you tell them to. I look in the tub and there's poop in the tub floating. Jace was in the water with her. It was like chaos. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I definitely didn't think that my last video of 2023 was gonna be about potty training. I mean, that's pretty much all I've been doing for this entire month, so might as well share. And Happy New Year, I guess, because this will be my last video, so Happy New Year. Anyways, let's just get into it. There are so many methods when it comes to potty training, so many different styles and approaches you can take. Do your research, make your decision, whatever's best for your family. I'm just gonna be talking about specifically what I did, which is follow exactly what this book says. It's called Oh Crap Potty Training by Jamie Glowacki. So my suggestion is to buy the book because there's no way that I can cover every single thing in this book. But if you don't like reading, then just keep watching this video and hopefully I can give you some helpful information. So we used this method when I potty trained my first son, Jace. He was 20 months at the time. It was 4 months before I had Aria, my second child, and I wanted to potty train him before she was born, which is the best decision that I ever made because it really is so much harder once you have more than one kid. That being said, he was the only child, so like, I was really able to apply all this stuff pretty well because he was all I had to focus on. As for this time with Aria, she's 26 months. I have 2 other kids, so obviously a lot more distractions. We live in a bigger house now. It's 2 levels. So it's just been a lot more different and a lot more challenging this time. But anyways, let's jump right into it. I guess the first sort of topic is like, how do you know when your kid's ready? What age should you start? The author suggests to start between 20 to 30 months. She says that this is the easiest time to potty train because at this point your child is eager to please, they are still malleable, and they are excited for more responsibility. As they get older, they become better at manipulation and stronger at exerting their will. So you want to kind of catch them before they like really get to that point where they can resist. Obviously you can start, a little bit before that time frame or a little bit after, but she's just saying that that's probably the best time. A few other indicators that you can look for. Does your child retreat to a corner or a private place to poop? Can your child recite the ABC song? Can your child communicate their needs? By this I mean, can they somehow ask for water, juice, or milk when they're thirsty? Can they ask for a snack when they're hungry? Can they throw a tantrum for candy at a market? Can your child throw a tantrum for just about anything? So like, basically, if they can accomplish those things, then they can probably accomplish potty training. That being said, it has a lot to do with us as parents actually being ready, because if they already have those basic signs met and they're 20 to 30 months, they are capable. So now figure out if you are ready. Here's the thing, you can't be half-hearted about it. You can't be like, okay, well, we're gonna give it a little try and kind of see how it goes. No, that cannot be your attitude with potty training because it's gonna drag it out. You need to just like be 100% all in, both you and your partner if you are living with someone. A very common myth is like, I'll just leave the potty out casually in the bathroom and like eventually they'll catch on. But like that's not really how it works because there's no commitment to that. It's just like, yeah, they might sit on it sometimes. Like we literally did that with Aria. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it out and kind of see what happens. Nothing happened. Once you make that commitment, you need to schedule the dates. That is like the first step. Look at your calendar and figure out, again, this is a big reason why it's based on the parents, because we really do need to clear our schedules for at least like 3 days. I would suggest a long weekend when both of the parents are home, and maybe a holiday weekend. So like either that Friday or the Monday is the holiday. Make sure you have nothing on your calendar to do that weekend other than sit at home with your kid and potty train. A Saturday, Sunday, and a Monday if you can would be perfect. And then like the remainder of that week, Tuesday through Friday, if you can stay home. I know there's working parents, so that can be hard, but maybe you can work from home that week and make sure that the schedule is cleared. You don't have any activities or anywhere to bring the kids. Okay, next huge mindset shift. Do not have a preconceived idea of how long this should take. If you Google or YouTube like potty training, there's just so many videos coming up. How to potty train your kid in 3 days. 3 days, like 3 days is in everybody's head for some reason. Don't do that to yourself. Truly. I really don't think it ever just takes 3 days. I think like Yes, a ton of the work is done in the first 3 days, but it really continues after that, like closer to 7 to 10 days, maybe even up to 2 weeks. Just get the idea of 3 days out of your head. For that week period, it is better to be in a familiar setting, like in your own home, while you're doing the training. If you have childcare or if you have like your kids in daycare, there is specific chapters on that. Okay, so once that's all figured out, next you need to do some mental prep. You can let your kid know like a week before, we're gonna be throwing away your diapers soon, we're gonna start going pee-pee in the potty, and kind of just start throwing around that language so they're not totally caught off guard the day of. Read them books about potty training. You can also start preparing them by learning how to undress themselves, especially pushing their pants down, and also switching that language is huge. Like that's a really good tip I learned from the book. Instead of saying pull your pants down, which is for some reason what we tend to say, pulling is gonna resonate as like pulling upwards for them. So if you start to say push your pants down, that actually helps them a lot better with emotion. Okay, now what will you need? So obviously you're gonna need a potty chair. You can link the one that we have below. There's so many out there. A step stool if you do want your kid to use the big toilet, and if you do use the big toilet, I would suggest getting like the toilet seat insert, the smaller one. We have both of those. A car seat liner is a nice thing to have that you just put right into their car seat so that in case they have an accident in the car, it doesn't soak through into the car seat fabric. And then optional, you might want to get a like portable toilet seat. I don't know what you call it. It's basically like a smaller one. You can fold it up so you can use it on public toilets so your kid doesn't fall in, but you can just hold your kid. So last thing for prep is prepare your space. So I would try to stay in one kind of more designated area of the home. Like for us, almost everything happens here, like living room, kitchen area. So we rolled up all the rugs in here, put them on the side, covered up the couch so that like Aria's not climbing on the couch and has accidents there. It's just gonna be like keep you more sane from having to constantly clean everything up if she's peeing on it, and they will have accidents. Before we move on to the next point, I want to take a quick moment to talk about today's video sponsor, Hiya. Hiya is a daily children's vitamin that is pediatrician approved. We recently switched the kids over to it. They're loving it so far. I am loving it because it's 0 sugar. We also no longer call our vitamins gummies, which is what we were doing with the last one, and that can be a little bit confusing for kids when it comes to distinguishing candy from a vitamin. So that's the great thing about Hiya. It is a chewable vitamin instead of a gummy, so it has none of that gummy junk in it that a lot of the other vitamins carry. It's designed for ages 2 and up, and it is sent straight to your door in a package, so very convenient, so you don't have to think about it. You can just take it off of your checklist. Hiya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others to help support immunity, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, and more. So if you're looking for a daily vitamin to give your kiddos with 0 sugar, Hiya is offering my viewers 50% off of your first order. Just go to hiyahealth.com/NicoleLela and click the link in my description. So thank you to Hiya for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into talking about poop and stuff. Okay, so because this author really doesn't want you to have a certain number of days in your head, instead of going by like day 1 do this, day 2 do this, she goes by blocks, which is very, very helpful. So there's 6 blocks total, I believe. And the very first block is peeing and pooping on the potty or toilet while naked, either with or without prompting. And the idea is until this gets solidified, we are not moving on to the next block. Okay, so it's day 1. They wake up, you remove their diaper, and you say, today we're gonna be using the big girl potty. We're gonna say bye-bye to your diaper. We don't need diapers anymore, and you can throw that diaper away. So you're gonna be home all day long. Your kid's gonna be naked all day. They're totally naked because it's just a lot easier to see when the pee is actually coming out. Typically they do some sort of like sign or maybe like a little pee dance before they have to go. So the less clothes they have on, the easier this is to spot. She says if they're over 24 months to go ahead and give them extra fluids throughout the day to really get their body going and start peeing, so you can just start, teaching them quicker what to do. Today you will do nothing but watch your child. Ideally, this would be like a weekend, a Saturday. You don't have to work, your eyes are not on your computer or your phone, emails, like you are watching your kid like a hawk. Obviously, this is so much easier if you have two parents in the household that can do this together or tag team, because it is very boring, but also very exhausting at the same time. And you're just waiting to see when they are ready to go, and they're gonna start peeing, and you're gonna pick them up as quickly as you can and put them right on the potty. You should have your potty out in the main area or wherever you are as close by as possible, so that you don't have to run them all the way to the toilet, because there's going to be a trail of pee that's less to clean up, and you can successfully get them on and at least catch like that last little bit in the potty so they can see that it went in there. You're not gonna panic, you're not gonna yell and freak out when they pee. Try to calmly be like, you are peeing, let's go on the potty. And then you show them, look, you got pee-pee on the potty. You take the thing out and you can walk it to the toilet with them and like throw it into the toilet. And oh, we get to flush the toilet now. Good job. You know, yay, high five, celebrate a little bit. We don't go like too overboard with celebrating. We didn't do like treats. This isn't really like a heavy reward system in here, but yes, absolutely, like positive encouragement is good. This method is to wait for the kid to start peeing before you put them on the potty, instead of randomly sitting them on the toilet and like waiting for them to pee. There's a difference between the two. And with this method, it's resonating better that like, oh, when I have this feeling in my body, then I need to go on a toilet, as opposed to like they were just sitting there and happened to pee in it. There also may be no verbal indication, or depending on their age, they just might not be actually saying to you, I have to go pee pee. They probably won't in these first couple days, because this is so new. They have no idea what's going on. So don't expect that. Don't wait for them to tell you, because they're not gonna be able to tell you. She does talk a lot about like how every kid has a little quirk, something they do, some sort of like signal before they have to go. It might be like crossing their legs, or doing a little pee-pee dance before. Like I personally have not really figured out. I just feel like Aria usually just like was looking down and looked kind of confused. Like, but if you can catch what that signal is that your kid does, then you're more likely to be able to get them on the toilet quicker if you're watching them like a hawk. So that's kind of a good side note in case your kid does like a very clear signal. They are going to have accidents. It's just inevitable. It's going to happen. Tell yourself that now before you start, so that you're not angry or frustrated about it. And it's fine. You can clean it up. You clean it up with them. You can show them, look, we're cleaning up your pee-pee. Pee-pee doesn't go on the floor. It goes in the potty. If it's a poop, you know, you can pick up the poop with the toilet paper, plop it in the toilet and show them. Poop goes in the potty. You're just stating the facts, but we're not scolding them. We don't want to scold, and we don't want to shame. Additionally, try to not say it's okay if they have an accident. I feel like naturally that's something that wants to come out of my mouth. If I see that Aria's crying and upset because she knows she made a mistake, okay, because they could take that as like permissive. Like, it's okay that you peed here, it's fine. Don't say that. Just say, pee doesn't go here, pee goes in the potty, like very plainly. Okay, so poop. There's like a whole chapter about poop in here, poop language, all things poop. Poop behavior generally changes when they're potty training as opposed to when they have a diaper on. Like, I'm pretty sure Aria pooped so much when she had a diaper on, but once it was off, she was not pooping that first day, like at all. I think it wasn't until that whole morning she just had pee accidents, and then I think until we put the diaper back on for nap time, that's when she finally pooped. And you know, they feel relaxed enough while sleeping to do it again and like comfortable. So it's very common that can happen, just like they're not pooping as much, or they're holding it in, they're like not sure what's going on. So if you choose to train them with nap time and nighttime right away, there is a whole chapter on how to do that. And she does say that is like the best way to potty train, is to just get it all done at once. I've never done that. Even with Jace, I didn't do that. It's just very overwhelming and a lot at once. So I'm definitely not doing it this time either. She says that, you know, with day one, if you're not going to do it that way, go ahead and have them use the potty before nap time, then go and put on the diaper, and you can tell them what's happening. You can say, I'm putting on the diaper just during nap time, and then once you wake up, we're taking it right back off. And yes, they will pee or poo in the diaper during nap time. Totally normal, that's fine. When they wake up, you can take it right back off and switch them out. Okay, so after nap, you finish the day off. You should have a better idea at the end of day 1 how often your child uses the potty, kind of like what their system is like. And it's good to just take note of that routine for the next day. That way you can prompt, like it's okay to prompt them to go if you have an idea like, oh yeah, every day after breakfast is when they pee. So the indicator that you have successfully gotten through block 1 is that your child, while naked, can sit to pee and poo on the toilet or the potty. This can be because you prompted them or because they went on their own. If you don't see this yet, then you are still on block 1 and should continue in block 1 on the next day. And it can take anywhere from like 1 to 3 days. But once you feel like that light bulb has gone on in your child's head, then you are in the clear to move on to the next block. Okay, block 2 is that your child is peeing and pooping on the potty with clothes on, but they're commando. So no underwear yet, no pull-up, and this is with or without prompting. So once you're ready for block 2, author suggests to go commando. And this is kind of like for up to a month. Dresses can be a lot easier to wear because they could just, you know, lift it up and go. Or if you do pants, make sure it's like elastic waistband so that it's easier for them to pull down. Push down. And here's the thing about pull-ups and the reason why the author doesn't suggest pull-ups. She says that the thickness in them is so similar to a diaper that they're just gonna go back to peeing and pooping in it because they feel comfortable with it. She even says that with underwear, it's kind of still creating that snug feeling. Everything's like compact in there. Whereas if you're commando, it's very uncomfortable if they have an accident. There's like, it's getting stuck all over, there's pee going down the leg, and having that like uncomfortable feeling is a good thing for them because it's teaching them like this needs to go into a potty. It is not fun to have an accident. So the other thing with block 2 is you can now start doing very small outings. So think like quick drive in the car, like maybe just a walk around the block, something as simple as that. We also she had a doctor appointment that week, and it's good. It's like boosting their confidence a little bit. Like, look, you made it through an hour at the doctor's without peeing, you know, or you can try out the toilet at the doctor's office, see if they'll go. Also make sure you bring extra clothes anywhere you go. Author says if they have an accident and get poop in their pants, to go back to block 1, take the pants off, do naked for a little bit. She even says that you can kind of like do a combination of like maybe no pants for a few hours and then pants back on for a few hours until you feel like fully confident to move into commando. I really do believe her when she says that the pull-ups and not going commando and like going straight to underwear too quick can prolong this whole process. But with this situation with Aria, being that I had 2 other kids to look after, I have 2 floors in the house, so like sometimes the kids were downstairs playing. I just had a really hard time being able to continually keep an eye on her once we got into block 2, because at that point, it was day 3 of potty training, which brings us to Monday. Richie went back to work, so he wasn't with me to help keep an eye on the kids. It was just getting like really difficult. So yeah, this is to kind of preface why we made the decision to put her in pull-ups a couple of days later, because I was trying to stick out the commando thing. So basically I'm in day like 3 to day 5, but we're in block 2. I was going back to like the naked thing every so often, but she was still having some accidents, you know, some pee accidents, a poop accident when she was in the basement and I couldn't get to her fast enough. She finally did have a successful poop in the toilet, day 3 or 4. Kids were taking a bath, I put her in, she said poo 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 poo. So I took her and I put her on the toilet. She pooped into the toilet and I was like so happy she got it out because she was barely pooping those first couple of days. And once I was like, yay, all done, whatever, put her back into the bathtub. I think I stepped away for like a minute. I come back, I look in the tub and there's poop in the tub floating. Jace was in the water with her. It was like chaos. I had to pull him out. He was like, oh my God. Meanwhile, I don't even know what Theo was doing. Like I couldn't even get to him to help him. Richie wasn't home when this all happened. Like it was very stressful. I also started to deal with this weird thing where she would say pee. I would put her on the toilet and sit there and wait for her to go. And then she wouldn't go. Like she would just sit there. And I'm like, why isn't she going? Because she's telling me she has to go, but then she's not going. I went back to the book because I remember there was like, they talk about all these things, and the suggestion was like they might want some more privacy. Very simple tactic, just be like, oh, I'll be right back, I'm gonna grab something. You leave the bathroom, and literally the second I turn the corner, I hear the pee trickling into the toilet. The book talks a lot about if you are starting to feel that resistance and they're saying no, which tends to happen around like day 3 or 4 after you've had a little bit of success, and then you're like, why are they suddenly saying no? The resistance could really be like an over prompting issue. Most parents will give up in block 2 because it starts to get really difficult. This is where you really need to start to focus on like, okay, what progress is your child showing? Focus on the positive, the little wins, because they really do mean a lot. Especially if like, yeah, your kid wants the privacy, that's really showing that they're getting it. It is better to keep going than to give up and then have to start this all over again. Then things got even more difficult days like 6 and 7 because she got sick. She wasn't feeling good. So that's when I really started to question, like, should we just stop? Like, why am I potty training my kid when they don't feel good? Because there was like one day where she literally did not even have one successful trip to the bathroom. Every single one was an accident. I was so frustrated. I didn't understand why she had taken such a big step back from all the progress she made. And I was like, it must just be because she doesn't feel good. Okay, so then Saturday hit. So it had been like one full week, right? Because we started on a Saturday. It was the next Saturday where she was like, I'm gonna give you a break. I'm gonna take the kids and go to my mom's house. I'll just put a pull-up on her for the day. Like, we'll see how it goes, whatever. We'll try to get her to use the bathroom there. So she ended up actually doing amazing. She had 0 accidents. Even though she had the pull-up on, she was telling them every single time she had to pee, and she was peeing in the toilet in a new environment. I was like shocked. So it was like a light bulb went off in her head. I don't know. Richie suggested, she's doing good with the pull-up on, like, let's just leave it on her during the day. That way, if she is like out of your sight and you can't get to her, at least you don't have to like clean more clothes. That's not what the book suggests, you know, she says not to do that, but considering the fact that like for some reason Aria is still telling us when she has to go with the pull-up on, and on the off chance that she like makes a mistake and she's in the basement and I can't run down and help her in the moment or whatever, like I've got 2 other kids, so it's just a lot harder. Like, let's just take this route and see how it goes. So block 3. Block 3 is basically peeing and pooping on the potty in different situations with or without prompting. Basically, you're solidifying the skills and doing longer outings. Some major things to think about is just like, obviously prompt them to pee before you leave the house and go somewhere. Try to schedule things like around when you know they go. Like if they always go poop every day at 11, wait till they go poo at the house and then leave. That'll just save you the headache and bring extra clothes, a car seat liner like I talked about, and you can also bring a potty in the car. Just like put it in the back. Some of the major issues that parents are just doing wrong is rushing, not prompting, and over prompting. The book talks so much more about this in detail. At some point, you do need to release control and start to trust your child, which is really hard to do because there's so little. But big thing is to remember that you are not asking them to go potty, like, do you need to go potty? You are prompting them. It's a balance of like tossing the prompts out there with as little energy as possible. Something like, I can see you have to pee, there's your potty. Then drop the matter, walk away, and let it go mentally and or physically. Now she can make her own choice, which means there's nothing to resist. If you don't care, there's nothing for her to fight. You need to prompt, but you can't over prompt. It's really tricky. And try to be aware of bribery versus prompting. So example, instead of saying you can watch Elmo if you go potty, replace if with after. And this is just a language switch, but it makes a really big difference with power struggles. So you could say, after you go potty, we can go watch Elmo. At the end of block 3, you should have some confidence in being able to leave the house with clothes on. So basically I was in block 3, I guess I still am, day 8 to 14. So that's kind of where we have settled in for now. Today's day 14. So we haven't progressed to block 4 yet because block 4 is switching to underwear officially, which I haven't done with her because she is still in the pull-ups, even though the pull-ups are like dry all day. I just leave them on in case, you know, there's an accident. Because at this point I trust her. She's like fully walking around doing her thing. She will tell me when she needs to potty. I just want to see more consistency with specifically pooping in the potty because she's releasing that during nap time and she's releasing it at nighttime when her diaper is on. But I am really happy that we held it out. Like at that point where I was seriously about to give up. I was like crying at home. It had been such a difficult week. So in block 3, we have been doing longer outings. At the library, we were there for like 2.5 hours. She was pulling me to the toilet like every 20 minutes and she was peeing. It was like short pees every single time. So block 4 and 5 would basically be next. And block 4 is peeing and pooing on the potty with underpants on. Block 5 is consistent self-initiation. So that's interesting because I kind of feel like Aria has that down. Like I'm not really prompting her. She's just self-initiating. So it looks like we're skipping around at this point. We're just doing what works for us. Block 6 is the nighttime training. So I'll talk more about that because once I can get underwear onto Aria and she's like consistently doing that well, then we'll move into nighttime training at some point. I don't know when that's gonna be. Basically, the main thing about nighttime training is carefully monitoring their fluid intake before naps and before bedtime. If you're regularly giving them, milk or liquid right before those points, then you should probably start gradually pulling that back before you like fully take it away. And you wanna look at it as like 2 upside down pyramids. So like in the morning, top of the pyramid, you would give them the most amount of liquid, and as you get closer to that nap time, which is bottom of the pyramid, you're reducing their intake of liquid. And then another triangle like that after nap time. You want to get to a point where you're giving them no more liquid 1 hour before nap time and no more liquid 2 hours before bedtime. And a good indicator that your kid is ready to start doing nighttime training is when their nap time diaper is consistently dry for an extended period of time. So aside from reducing liquids, the other part of nighttime training is waking your child basically in the middle of the night to go pee. You wouldn't do this during nap time because obviously naps are too short. So you're really just gonna start with nighttime. And she suggests starting with 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. For like a week, you're basically going in there and putting them on the potty at those times because you're trying to figure out when they're actually peeing at nighttime. It could be 2 different times, but start with those 2 times to kind of figure out like when the pee is happening. You can actually put their potty right next to their bed so that you're not taking them all the way to the toilet, because the idea is like you're not fully waking them, they're half asleep. This is super quick. It could be in the dark, putting them on the potty, and depending if they do, you might need to shift those times around. This could take a while to figure out, so be patient. I can't remember how long this took with Jace, but I just know that we got to a point where we were going into his room between like 10 and 11 p.m., having him pee and then putting him straight back to bed, and that was enough to keep him dry through the rest of the night. But I feel like it did take a little bit of time to get to that point. Once we saw like, oh, he's dry, his diaper's dry, then we were able to switch him into underwear for nighttime. So the rest of the book, after talking about the blocks, goes into like specific chapters that are really, really helpful, like block 1, 2, and 3, drama and dilemmas, daycares and other caregivers, behavior versus potty training, elimination communication, younger than 20 months, older than 3 years, the reset, special circumstances. So there's so much. Then there's this whole section in the back that's like a cheat sheet for parents, which is really good for dads who are not gonna read this book when you tell them to. Overall, we are going strong with Aria. I have confidence in her. I feel like we have just gotten through the hard parts. Yes, I was crying. Yes, it was very stressful. Yes, I wanted to quit at times. But this is your sign to not quit. If you started, just keep going. I can't even imagine if we did quit and then had to like start over all over again when we cleared our schedules for that whole week, how much harder that would have been. So I'm glad we pushed through. It definitely didn't happen in 3 days. And if you found another method that is awesome and it works for you, or you have any specific tips and tricks, make sure to leave them in the comments for other parents who could be reading them. I don't think this is like the end all be all. This is just what I happened to settle on, but I know there's a lot of other great methods out there as well. But on that note, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for all of your love and support this year. And I'm wishing you guys good health and joy in 2024. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.